We're
Yo,
live.
what's up, Cornerstoners? My name is Johnny Warbucks, and welcome back to another installment of the Rapper's Corner. And as always, I'm here with my crew. Over here is Sir Puff a Lot. We got the
Salute.
homie Kalishnikov Red. And today we are being graced by one of the DMV's nicest, legitimized, and
Appreciate
recognized
it.
artists from a Richmond Highway lane to a Jay-Z Money Ain't a Thing. Who are you? Where you
Davy
from? What do you
Fresh.
do, man?
It's your boy Davy Fresh, man. I'm
Yeah,
from Alexandria, Virginia, by
yeah.
way of Gum Springs and Richmond Highway. And I spent a lot of time in DC coming up as a recording artist out in DC, based out in DC. I got roots everywhere, man.
Yeah, dog. Yeah, yeah. It started in New York, right?
I was born in New York. I lived there until
Yeah.
I was 7. And I moved down to the DMV when I was about 7 years old. So I spent like every summer of my life in New York. I got a lot of roots in New York.
What part of New York you from? Like
The
originally?
the South Bronx, Patterson Project,
South
South
Bronx,
Bronx.
And
man.
son, the
Mecca.
brother, yeah, Mecca right there.
I
No,
love it.
I
Yeah,
got
man.
I got family in Queens, Manhattan, so I spent up a lot of summers in New York as well. Back in
I
it was probably grimy and dirty, man.
Nah, me too. Like so,
Uh,
Nas, the building that Nas grew up in, my aunt JD still lives in that building to this day. As a matter of fact, on the album Illmatic, he
Yeah,
shouts out my cousin Tyrone. He actually mentions
Get
him
out
on
of
a few
chat,
records.
yo.
He
that's
actually
dope.
mentions him a few times on the records. And then, I call him my uncle. We're not blood related, but he'll tell you he's known me ever since the day I was born. AG from Showbiz and AG. So
Yeah, dog.
he's actually the reason why I rap today. If I give anybody that credit, I got to give it to
Wow.
AG.
Okay.
That's what's happening, man. Yo, shout out
Yeah.
to AG Showbiz, man. That is a classic.
Shout out to both of
Yeah,
them.
it's dope what they've done for you, man. Hey, real
Mhm.
quick, man, is GTA 5 still that video game, homie?
Hell no.
Hell no, man. It ain't worth getting in a line for a midnight release no more.
I'm getting in line for GTA 6, but
Yeah,
ain't
dog.
nobody
Yeah.
playing GTA 5 no more, man. That shit is boring as hell.
Yo, man. No Franklin, no Trevor, nothing, man. They all
Nah,
ghosts.
man. Shout out to Grant Rockstar.
Yo,
Yeah.
YouTube and
yeah,
Rockstar is the first place I ever got a check at. To be honest,
yo,
they gave me
what?
like $2,400 when I was like 22, 23, something like that,
What?
for a song called "Weed and Palm Trees" on one of my mixtapes called Fresh Life. Like it was
Yeah, Fresh
supposed to
Life.
be on GTA 5, but like this is like 2011. I think the game didn't come out until 2013. It was like towards the release of the game, they kind of made the playlist more updated, like radio, because it was supposed to be old songs on it, like Snoop Dogg "Beautiful" and
Yeah,
Chief
Mm.
Keef "I Don't Like" and stuff like
yeah.
that. And they kind of changed a lot of it last minute.
Yo, that's so wild, man. Small world, man. Look at that
Yeah,
pop.
man. That's the first check I ever got. I thought I was big
Yo,
balling.
yeah, man, do it. Do it big, man. I'll get them on the GTA. Let's go.
That's crazy though, man. Mom,
Yo,
that
Back then things were easier. If you had the ambition and wanted to get in contact with
Yeah.
people, it was kind of
yeah.
Yeah.
easier to get in contact with people. I've always been professional. Like I put together packages for companies to consider me and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
they'll notice my package standing out from the rest of them. But
Yeah, you
yeah.
gave us the package that we're using today, and it was all like easy to work with and legit. Like that little page you gave me.
Oh,
Yeah,
my
forget a link
EPK,
tree.
man. That's
Yo,
just
man, it made, I saw your stuff. Yo, real talk, Davey. I was like, man, we
yeah.
got to step our game up.
But that's
Like,
I'm
it is
You
legit.
gotta understand, man. I've been an independent artist for a long time, and I never really
2012
had.
and
I
up,
might have
man.
had a manager once in my entire career. You know what I mean? I've
Yeah,
always
yeah.
done all my business myself, and when you're doing the business, you just learn things. You learn that artists are supposed to have EPKs, and when you're doing these interviews, it's like you want to have good interviews, so you want to
yeah,
give the interviewers your EPK, so you don't got to tell them, no, go Google me, go look at this link. No, everything you
Yeah.
really need to know is in that package. You know what I
Yeah.
yeah, dog.
mean? And that's how most artists move. You know?
Nah,
Yeah.
you've been really holding it down, man. There's a lot of really good stuff in there, man.
I
And we're gonna
appreciate it.
talk. We definitely gonna talk about it. When I was listening to Richmond Highway this past week or two, it's like I was picking up little pockets of even some of like this conscious West Coast stuff, a little bit of Blue, a little bit of Kendrick Lamar, but like also some of
Okay.
that Southern '90s influence in there too. It's
Yeah.
like I want to know like who are some of those like bigger influences in hip hop. How did that help
You
develop your unique conscious sound that you're doing?
Hip hop, man, hip hop and music in general. First it started out with the love of hip hop. Like I
Yeah,
gotta let I'm from. I'm not from there. I'm from the highway. That's where I'm from. But I was born in the Bronx,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
my mom was 21 years old when she had me. She watched hip hop be born in the Bronx. Like
yeah,
she'll tell you about Grandmaster Flash playing
yeah.
in the park, Slick Rick freestyling in the park. So hip hop was never a taboo thing in my house. The first rap album I ever heard was "Runaway Slave" by Showbiz and AG. That's
And
what I thought music was.
and
And
that
then by the
was
time I got to like 4 and 5, my mom she bought me Doggy Style and Totally
yo,
Crossed
that was
Out.
like one of the
Those
first
were
ones that kind of radicalized me, dog. Yo,
that
that's
that and I
crazy.
was like 4 or 5. Most people my age, they ain't probably start listening to hip hop till they were like 10,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
12.
yeah.
I've been listening to it since the day I was born, so it's
Uh,
always been a way of life. And then by the time I got to like 18, 19, 20, I started really getting into rock and
yeah,
really getting into.
Nice.
I think that's what makes me a great producer now, because it's like I really got into the fact that appreciating music, that when you listen to something, it's like every single thing you're listening to, there's somebody playing it, whether if it's the drums or the bass or the
Yeah.
guitar or the keyboard, they're all in unisec playing this music. And that was just always amazing to me. So
Yeah.
like I got really into Weezer, I got really into Nirvana. I
yeah,
think he's one of the best songwriters ever. I really
yeah.
got into Smashing Pumpkins, like
Yo,
all of
okay,
that type of stuff, like,
yeah,
you know what I mean. So like
Do you like
just
Nine Inch
my
Nails at all?
I like them a little bit. I'm not a huge fan of Nine Inch Nails, but there's some joints that I like for
great
sure.
Alright,
record, man.
alright.
Smoke too, though.
It's cool.
So
It's cool because like I really, as myself, like I got into rock too, and a
He
lot
put
of,
me onto it, dog.
yeah,
Like
and like
you would have thought that was gonna go the other way.
a lot of the
uh,
like Disarm by what's your, you just named them, but like that's one of my favorite.
Smashing Pumpkins.
Smashing
Zero,
Pumpkins,
dog. That was
Zero.
like,
Hmm.
1979.
hell
Oh,
yeah,
that's
man.
what I was about to say. 1979
That
is a
song.
classic.
Yeah. That's dope.
Those are like
Well,
songs that I like to
songs in
sample.
the '90s were dope though. Like rock songs in the '90s were pretty sick. I gotta
Everything
say.
Hey,
in the
listen, man. I ain't
90s was
gonna
pretty
lie.
good though.
Some of them '90s pop songs were kind of slapping too, man. You got a record that's at the top of your Spotify right now that samples ATC around the world. I was
Hmm.
tripping when I heard that, dude. I ended up driving into the spot today, listening to around the world, la la la.
What's the craziest thing? That's one of my biggest songs around the world. That is
Yo,
one of
God. Oh, God, yo, dude,
everybody
that
from
stuff is just
Paris.
fun. It's just
Everybody
fun.
from Paris to Germany, like that
Yeah,
song is probably one of my biggest income songs. And the crazy thing about it is a lot of those people would tell you that's my song, like before they say ATC or something
right.
like that. Like a lot of these
Yeah,
kids, they've heard it from me first before they heard it from them.
which is
So
the
I think
beauty
that
of
was always pretty cool. Huh?
that's the beauty of it, man.
No, no,
Yeah.
what's cool, man. Like when because I'm the one who saw you up at the mall at
Oh
Springfield.
yeah, for sure. At the show, yep.
Yeah, and I got this like feeling like from hearing you and playing and watching you play. You have that old school in you, man.
Yeah,
Oh
And
there's
yeah,
no
man.
and that's a beautiful thing nowadays, because that's like one of the impetuses of like why we try to do this is to keep the old school relevant and alive. You know what I mean?
You
Like,
I came from a generation of hip hop where it changed from being, something that people talked about their life and their struggles and stuff like that, and it changed into like, a pop thing. I think it's just a relatability thing with the kids. Like a lot of the kids that are rapping right now, like I'm not even saying that, doesn't make people better or not. But that's not what I'm trying to say. I'm just the point is they don't come from the same environments I come from. Like, you
Mhm,
know what I
mhm,
mean?
mhm.
Was dirt poor growing up. Like, you know what I'm saying? And for me to be where I'm at, if you would have told me this when I was a kid, I probably would have believed you because I knew how nice I was. But
Yeah,
but it's still like it still is even mind boggling to me to see all the things that I accomplished and what I've been able to do for my family. And I'm not Drake. I'm not on the top of the charts or nothing like that. I'm just an independent artist who just kept going with it. But you know, I think that's just what it is. It's just the circumstances of people's experiences growing up. Like when you grow up in, a two-parent household in the suburbs and they ain't never had your lights cut off before, what are you expecting these kids to rap about? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's that type of thing, and I don't say that to act like people are better than other people because of where they come from. It's just literally about experiences, and people tend to write about what they experience, and that's just literally what my music is. And then on top of that, I tell you about my influences from AG to Nas to Tupac. Tupac's my favorite rapper of all time.
Shout
So
out to Tupac.
you know what I mean? So like and as a grown man now, I feel like, I've been in the business since I was a kid. I'm a grown man now. And I try to really put thought into every single thing that I write. I try my hardest not to cap in my records.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's I noticed your family, man. Like
Yeah.
you had your kid at the show. You know, I saw
Yeah.
you there,
Yeah.
and like
That's my entourage, man. I don't
right,
really
that's a
I
beautiful.
don't really go to shows. I don't really do interviews. Like if I gotta leave my house, you seeing me pull up with my family. You know
No,
what I
no, no.
mean?
That's a beautiful thing, and I hear
Yeah.
it a lot in the album too, and your album cover as well. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
got It's a family. Like you get a family orientation there. That's like awesome. So I really dug the.
Mm-hmm. I
I
appreciate that, man.
when I first saw you, I was just like, we got to get him on the show because, like, one, he's
I
keeping
appreciate that.
alive, and two, he's got skill. And I fell in love with your beats a lot, man. Like, and the
That's
stuff
a
you
blessing.
say, obviously it's on point because you're right. It's
It's
reality.
authenticity, dog.
But
Exactly. Yeah.
the way those beats are and your flow on it, like.
I appreciate that,
I,
man.
I dug it, and I'm coming from the time of the like Lost Boys and coming,
Exactly. Yeah.
like all that.
I love Lost Boys, man.
uh,
Shout out Mr. Cheeks.
Right.
Yo,
Shout
shout
out to
out Mr.
right.
Cheeks. Yeah.
So for me to like, get down and I was really happy I ended up, buying that CD from you, man.
I appreciate that, man. Like, that's what the music is for, is the impact. I appreciate being that the music can impact. I love to hear people say stuff like that, man, because we work hard on that shit, and
Oh yeah.
artists are
Yeah.
sensitive about their shit. And, and we just like, for me, like I said, man, I put a lot of thought into it, and I had the benefit of starting out as a kid. So I had to really develop on stage. I had to develop at a high level really fast to be able to keep up with my peers. And now I'm at a point in my career where I am producing like all of the records myself now.
That's
And
rich.
it's just like even my creative process is a little bit different than when we was chasing record deals and stuff like that. Like when we were always on schedule to release music. Like you're constantly in the studio, you're constantly pumping out records, and you're not really putting too much thought into the constant grind of putting out records. Now I'm in a point in my life where it's like I really don't get in the studio unless I'm inspired. Like inspiration is really big for me these days. So like if I feel like I'm working on an album and I got a body of work that I love, say I got like 8 songs that I love, and I'm trying to figure out, let me finish the last 4, but every song that I'm recording is not hitting the same way as those other 8. I'll take a month off. I'll take like a month or 2 off from recording until I hear something that I want to sample. I'm like, oh, I gotta get that. I can write to that. And like the inspiration has to come like that, because everything that I write, I want it to be impactful. I want people to I want it to be timeless music. I want you to hear it today and then hear it 10 years from now and still get the same feeling. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
If
No,
I'm not capturing that, I'm not recording it. You know
no,
what I mean?
mean, you definitely
Yeah.
caught that, man. Like, I mean, I be pumping that Jones because look, I don't. You're the only. You're, I don't have any CDs. Like, you're the only CD I have, right? So I like pump
I
it in my car.
appreciate that.
I put it in my car, right? Just CD player I got, CD I have, and I be bumping it, man. And there's you got some lines there. I can't. I'm gonna paraphrase it because I barely remember, but it was something like you're selling the weed with the essays or the mota or like the homies. Like you mentioned the his
uh
one of
Damn,
your
what I say? That's one like the intro,
yeah
right?
Yeah, and I was like, oh shit, that's cool. That's cool.
I've been all over the world, man, too. So, like, I learned how to say weed in all the Spanish countries, to be honest. Mota in Mexico, Pasto in Puerto Rico. Like, you got to know how to find the weed, man.
Oh
That's
man.
that's a solid segue. I want to give a quick shout out to my sister Stacy. See, she's been traveling around the world for her job recently, and she just
Word.
came back from Seoul, Korea. She highlighted the communications tower, old palaces, some dope spots. But besides all of the bulgogi, sushi, and soju that you could digest, man, what's it like out there, homie, man? What's
I
were
was
you
Jaden
hip
Smith
hop scene in
out there,
school or
man.
what?
I was Jaden Smith out there, man.
You were
Like, my
Jay
life
Smith
was
up.
like Jaden Smith out there living in Korea, man. That was the best time of my life, man. That was
Yo,
an experience for me. Cause like when I came back to America, I was ready to be a rapper, a celebrity, or whatever you needed me to be, because the Koreans, they showed me how to do that. They showed me how to carry myself. They showed me how to be a celebrity. They showed like I'm out in Seoul, Korea, buying penthouses and lofts and stuff because it's really cheap out there to buy. Like, you get a loft for like $90 a night. You
yo,
know what I mean? So it's like you can really live if you got a little bit of money in your pocket. You can really live good out there. And I
yo.
started making friends with athletes and started modeling for like Bape, and I was just
Babe, a bathing ape or whatever, right?
yeah, yeah. So like I started doing a lot of cool stuff out there that
So
I probably wouldn't have got my hands on being in Korea. So like that was just an experience in itself. Everything about that country is awesome, to be honest. Their technology is 6 years ahead of us. Music was really on the rise there. I was in music studios with like K-pop artists all the time and stuff
oh,
like that. So it was a great experience. That was something that I'm glad I got to do. I did that because I was in the military, but
okay, what up?
but when I was out there, that's the thing about the military. Like I'm probably one of the only people who will tell you this. I had one of the best experiences in the military. I only did 2 years. I did a year of training and did a year out in Korea and then came back home.
Wow,
And
wow.
then and from the time I got there to the time I got out, we had a ball because basic training was like college. We were bad as
Yo,
fuck, so you know what I mean. We was just having fun, and then when we got to Seoul, Korea, man, you gave a freaking 23-year-old kid some money and tell him to go out here into this big city, and man, I was having fun. That's all I can say. Shout out to my man Aaron Haynes. He is like
yo,
the LeBron James of basketball out there. He retired
yo.
a couple years ago, but that was like without him, he made my life out there even better. I got to make friends with athletes because I was buying floor seats to games. Some games floor seats are like $25 in our money. You know what
What?
I mean? So it's like I'm out there on the
Yo,
floor seats, and then they see me, and then they appreciate seeing me because they see somebody who look like them. Cheering for them on the sideline. Everybody wanted to know who is this kid on the sidelines. Like,
yeah,
you know what
yeah,
I mean?
yeah, yeah.
It
Yeah,
was amazing experience. Shout out Soul.
I saw some photos of you on these floor seats. I was like, yo, this man is connected, dog.
Yeah, man, I was
Yo,
having fun. I was having fun.
yo, that's fun, man.
Hmm.
Drunken Tiger and all those other cats out there in that market, man. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
So
I like I told you, man. I think it was more so just I was a kid who never left America before, and I just got to go see something that was totally different than what they were telling us back home, and it just opened my eyes up. I wanted to see the world after that, you know.
I believe it, man. I believe it, man. Travel, man.
Yeah.
It's the most versatility and everything. Travel outside of your music world. Travel outside of your neighborhood.
Oh,
You know,
for sure.
help
Ever since
build
we got
people.
back and the success of music, that's all me and my family do is travel. Like, I take every opportunity to go places with my family. Now, especially now that I can take my family with me, I think every year we go to Puerto Rico for my birthday. Last year was the first year we took the whole family. So that was a big thing. So that's like a tradition now, taking
Well,
everybody to Puerto
like
Rico.
staying out, like leaving in the country and all that stuff. It always expands your horizons.
It
Mm-hmm.
always expands your horizons, man. And I'm trying to introduce that to my little brothers, my little sister. I got a son now. We going to
Yeah.
Mexico for his birthday. So, I'm just
Oh,
trying to let them see as much as
Nice.
they can see in this world. Let them see as much as they can see even before I got a chance to see it. They're like younger than me. So even before I got a chance to see it, I want them to be even more versatile and more open-minded at 34 years old, when they reach that age, you
yo, that's
know?
fire, man. World gave to you, and you
Nah,
gave to the world.
Yeah.
Love it.
it's write down lyrics and stuff like that. Like, yeah, it's important to have a broad horizon with the realities of this world and so on and so forth.
You
But
know, I tell people all the time for these albums, like, when I recorded Richmond Highway, when I'm done recording an album like that, I'm taking a year off of rap. Like, I'm not putting out that album came out January 2023. I haven't put out an album in a year because I need time to experience life. I need time to write about shit. I got to take my son out the country so I can rap about it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I need experiences before I get back in the studio and write, because I feel like then when you just forcing it, then you just writing anything just for the sake of entertainment, and that's not what I kind of want to do when I get in the studio.
I can appreciate that, man. You sit there talking about the same thing you talked about last year. You ain't really moving forward, man. Can't
Exactly,
moving,
exactly.
you
And I
know?
feel like my music now is like a postcard to my homies back in the hood. They want to know
Yo,
what the update is. Like, and my followers, they want to know
yo,
what the update is. So like every album is like a different postcard. You know what I mean?
yo, I respect it, man. I respect it. Let me do a
Hmm.
pivot, man. It's been a few years, but are we ever gonna see or hear you rocking on another the Johnsons cartoon parody, or what's happening?
Probably not. I haven't been in any talks with Cartoon Connect about doing another episode of the Johnsons. I don't see it not happening. I can't say probably not. I don't think it's impossible for them to come together and do another episode with that show being as big as it was. But
Well,
at the moment, none. Shout out to Brandon Reed and Cartoon Connect. They're doing their
yeah,
thing with like Cottonmouth and stuff like that. Like, the parody cartoons, I think, is kind of a thing of the past for them now. He's kind of
yeah,
into developing his own original material and stuff like that. And the Johnsons was one of the coolest experiences I had as an underground rapper. You know what I mean? That was huge for my career. When I was like putting out albums like Every Dark Night Smile and Ready
mhm,
When You Are, because I had to compete with my peers. That time in the DMV, everybody was getting deals. Everybody was making moves. A lot of businesses was coming to the DC area, and that cartoon kept me in a lot of households because
yeah,
if you ain't watch it, your kids was watching it, and
yeah,
some niggas will probably have a screw face having to hear Davy Fresh voice every morning or some
yeah.
shit like that. You know what I mean? So that was a huge opportunity for me to be in that cartoon and for it to be named after me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so it's pretty dope. It was pretty
What's
dope.
the what's the whole animated voice acting process like though? Like,
I wouldn't be in animated voice acting if it wasn't for my man Brandon Reed. He really threw
yeah,
me into it, and that got me a lot more opportunities, like playing Black Panther and stuff. But like,
yeah,
working on the Johnsons, that was like 6 years of experience. Like, you know what I mean? So it was
yeah.
like I kind of just developed on the go, on on the job, and then by the time that was done, and I like basically, and not to sound crazy or anything, but it feels like anytime I audition for a voice acting role, I get it off of the strength of the Johnsons, to be
That's
honest
so
with you.
wild.
so
Yeah.
you a busy man, man. You a jack of all trades
Yeah,
here,
he's got a
man.
little
Yeah,
bit.
man. I got a family to feed, man. I got kids, man.
No, no, but I mean, you talked about having your own podcast with your
Yeah,
sister.
yeah, for sure.
And
Yeah, for
you're
sure.
doing a little.
Davy and Jada talk sneakers every
Yeah,
Monday.
were you always a sneakerhead, or was that just something that kind of you and Jada just got into, or what?
Man, my little sister is a monster. I created that monster.
Yo,
I've been buying this kid sneakers since she was like, since she was forever. You know what I mean? So she has better sneaker collections than half of
oh,
the guys she dates. It's hard for her to keep a
oh man,
boyfriend because the
come on now,
sneakers are
gotta
so
make them look
crazy.
fresh. Which one?
So it's like it's that type of thing. But sneakers when in the hood, sneakers is something that all kids want, man. I think I have a bar on my new album where I'm like, I do it for the kids that want them new sneakers and a Rolex. Like, you know what I mean? Just the simple things in life. Like,
That's
you know
simple
what I
things
mean?
in life,
So
dog.
but
Yo, man.
back when we were kids, we couldn't afford all the sneakers. For a long time, we had a Chuck Taylor outlet, and those were like 25 a pop, two for 50. So we would go in there and spend like $100 on sneakers and come out with like four pairs of sneakers at a time. And
Yo,
we started with the Chucks. When I started getting more money, then we started buying the Jordans and the Dunks and all of that stuff. But Like the sneaker explosion for my family happened when we started working with Nike. Like when we did the
Yeah,
Nike stuff, that's when the sneaker explosion really happened. We from the sneakers that I've designed to, just Nike sending me sneakers, sending my son
yeah,
sneakers. I had a bunch of sneakers.
yeah.
I had to that
Really
I
fly,
had to take
oh,
the
man.
stamp of a sneakerhead, huh?
Yeah, I've seen some really fly shoes, man, up on your
No,
Instagram, man.
I had no idea
Yeah,
that.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
actually
he's
pretty
been
cool.
yeah doing some stuff. That's what I'm talking about,
Yeah,
though.
yeah,
Like this cat has been like in the voice acting pocket, in the sneaker pocket, the podcast
yeah,
pocket. He's doing the hip hop pocket. He's not. You're not
yeah.
in singular lane, and I just love it, man, because diversifying that portfolio and keeping your options open. You know what
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
While
I
yeah.
still
think,
doing
like to be
all of those.
honest, bro, I gotta tell you, like it comes from just the era of music that I came from. Like
Mm,
the class, like you know how they got like the double XL freshman class or whatever. Like my class of the DMV class of the era of rappers I was coming up with, where I knew people who was getting signed to Def Jam, I knew people who were
yeah,
getting signed to Epic, Capital, Rostrum, like all these different record labels and companies was coming to the city. I had a situation with Tommy Boy Records.
yeah,
We'll get into that later, but
yeah,
it was, when that situation ended, I didn't have nobody holding my arm back telling me especially when the pandemic hit, there was nobody holding my arm back telling me I couldn't do this, I couldn't do that. I can, when show money dried up, I could still go out here and figure out a way to create a lane to go make more money. Where a lot of these artists were locked in contracts, and then they could once that they were. I watched them be on top of the world when they get on promo tours or whatever, because they done spent up that advance, and now they, you know what I mean. Now they on promo tours and they getting money like that, thinking that it's good money. Then when all them shows is gone, these niggas been on Def Jam for the past 2 years, and you still look like you just got a deal. Like you don't
yeah,
even look like a superstar or
yeah,
a pop star. Like by then, you supposed to look like Two Chains.
yeah,
You know what I mean? And you don't. You know what I mean? And then when they see me and they like, how is this nigga still going? Is because I chose. Like after Ready When You Are, I completely said, fuck the record labels. I am not
yeah,
signing a deal with a record label. Like fuck all of them niggas. So, and when I put that into my mind and stop chasing that, stop taking meetings with them, stop trying to even fuck with them, more money just opened up for me, man, because I just used my
That's good.
creative process, whether it was the sneakers, the music, the voice acting, whatever I can get my hands into and I was good at, I was going to get into it.
Hey,
Nice.
hey, real quick question. Now, like, I'm starting to ask this question more often now because we're the times that we're getting and because of the technology that we're getting. Like, so this is probably a surprise to both of you guys, but my question is, what's your stance and what do you take like how do you feel about AI being involved in like the rap game, like lyrics wise, and maybe even having like
They
big,
make beats too.
yeah,
I
big.
think it's two sides to the coin to all of the new technology
just
shit. See,
like the dog, yeah,
I feel like, on a sense, like, I feel like in a sense, like, have you guys seen the new Ghostbusters? Like the last one that came out?
The
yeah,
last
yeah,
one,
so
yeah,
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 yeah, yeah,
yeah.
How they put Egon in the movie and he was
yeah,
passed away.
yeah, it's
I
beautiful
feel
thing.
like I feel like in a sense, if the estate or if the artist is still alive and they consent to some shit like that, if they working with the record labels and they want to do shit like that, then let them do shit like that.
Yeah,
But on the other shit, on the other flip side of it, I'm kind of like I don't know if it's because I'm getting old or what. I'm kind of like exiting the streaming platform and the technology, like all the things that they're doing with artist music, especially if you're an independent artist not in cahoots with the major labels, because then it makes no sense, especially if you're an independent artist that might have passed away but you popping now and now major think they can fucking AI your voice to make a new album or some shit like that. Like that's
yeah,
crazy. But like as far as like streaming and shit like that, like I'm kind of totally against it. That's why I'm doing the CDs now. That's why I'm trying to do the next album on vinyl. That's why I'm doing the cassettes. I think it's important,
That's
especially for
dope.
rappers, because for a long time rappers kind of took devalued the whole culture with the mixtape game, with the Dat Piffs, with the Spinrillas. Like
mhm,
I had signed a deal early with SoundCloud, so I didn't really have to ever release my music on those platforms, and I got paid for all of my streams on SoundCloud. I work with them directly, and Dat Piff, I never fuck with Dat Piff and Spinrilla and all of those sites because I felt like they were making too much money and the artists weren't making anything. Like if you want to just say, oh, they get their show money or whatever, but that's still like you go to these sites, some of these joints got like 1 million streams on it, 500,000 streams on it, and the artist and gave them like $1,500 to be on the front page. On top of that, they making advertisement money. So they making crazy money on this site and don't break the artist off with nothing. That's why I kind of never really was on those sites later years. But I feel like that about streaming in the whole. I feel like the artist as artists, we really need to go back to putting in all genres. I feel like we really need to go back to
I
putting
agree with
value
you.
into the music because it's an art. It's
Something you
not
can
like
also hold in your hands and
you know you would
or
first of all I said it online. I feel like if people had to go back to spending 11.99 on the album, some of the shit that y'all are calling hot y'all wouldn't even pay attention to because y'all would never spend
No,
twelve
that's so
dollars on that shit in a million years. It's
years.
just
Yeah,
because you hear it on the radio all day, it's on TikTok all day, and you hear a snip of it and you think some shit is hot. But if you had to actually reach in your pocket and pay to listen to like Sexy Red or something like that. You would never do that in a million years. In a million years, that would never happen. So it's just like if we put, and that's because we devalued our genre so much that they think that shit is acceptable art. They think you know what I'm saying,
yeah. I
and
feel
it's
you. I
not.
you
feel
know.
you.
Not even to sound like an old nigga or something like that. I really don't give a fuck what they say,
No,
but
it's
it's the
it's
truth.
art. It's art. It's art.
It's an
That's what I'm
art. You
saying.
wouldn't go to no art gallery and be like, can
Honestly,
I?
No,
honestly, like
Go
I
ahead.
know right now, if we were to put out like a record that like you make like 200 vinyls, right?
Yes.
That shit will sell fast and they'll make
Yes.
you good money. But
It
on
make good
streaming,
money.
what are you
To
gonna
do
make?
to
Like
get that
barely
same amount of money, I would
money.
need to
It's
do
like
like 10
impossible.
million streams on one
there
album.
you go.
I
Yeah,
I know, right?
I was just having this conversation with my boys over here because we all make music, and I was like, I reading articles about like streaming, and I was like, I think I'm gonna do like a vinyl thing, like not for my next,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because like I mean, if I'm gonna have shit on streaming, fine, I'll have it there.
it's just a pop
Hmm.
get it out, but it's not the it can't be the
Yeah, and to
Well,
me it
sole
makes
revenue.
no sense. I have like for example on the same platform songs in the same album, and this
yep.
one song gets played 300,000
Yeah,
times, and I make like 8 cents on it, while the other one only plays 200 times, and it gives me $8 on it or something like
Exactly. You can have like similar numbers from multiple platforms and they all pay you differently.
different.
And it's
Yeah.
like, why is that? Like it's a rigged game. And I'm only
Oh,
speaking out of experience. Like I've been on both sides. I've been on the independent artist side and I've had an album like The Christianing get front paged on
that,
Apple Music and get a bunch of streams. Shout out to Dallas Austin and all of them.
yeah,
They're the ones that made that happen. But it was just like I seen what the pay was like. Even with that, it still wasn't that great. It was better
No,
than what you normally do when you're doing 50,000 streams a month. Just off of one platform. It still pays pretty good, but it's not. It's not. It doesn't. It doesn't add up to all of the times my album was featured. So like literally, they literally just gave themselves away. I looked at the stats for what my album was featured on Apple Music, and I
yeah,
looked at the stats for when my album was featured on iTunes. I
yeah,
made way more money on iTunes.
hmm
I
oh
sold
really?
yeah,
like 200 copies, making way more money on iTunes from them physically going to buy the album.
Yeah, they have to
yeah,
download it. Yeah, buy it. Yeah.
yeah.
Because,
So
that's
that's
still a thing. People don't know about that. I was actually thinking about with the new album, just putting it on iTunes. And then after a month or so, if we sell out all the physicals, then after a month, I'll put it back on streaming. But I don't think I'm going to release the albums exclusively for streaming. I mean, it shouldn't be like that, right?
no,
Don't they do that with the movies? Like, don't the movies come out in the movie theater first for you to go see it? And then it comes out on Netflix or Disney Plus or
Yeah.
whatever
yeah,
it
Yeah.
yeah,
is?
yeah,
yeah,
We're the only ones trying to put it straight to Disney Plus.
yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Well,
Yeah.
that's I like that
it's
analogy.
like don't put it on the platform.
Yeah,
Don't
just get
pay.
me out there.
You
That's
know?
what will happen.
Even before they put it on Disney Plus, they still try to make you pay more money by putting it on Prime to pay like
Yeah, yeah. You gotta rent it.
exclusively on Prime for $20.
You gotta rent it
Why?
before you stream it. That's right, man. And
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
So
yeah,
it's
yeah,
like, why aren't we doing that?
yeah, yeah.
See, so that's like I feel like as
Yeah.
we're all like headed towards this unknown area where it's like, well, what are we gonna really do? Because we've been streaming for a minute, and it hasn't worked out, and like nobody's selling stuff anymore. But selling stuff, didn't work out back in the day either because the record labels will still take it from. But if you can
I,
sell independently,
I'm gonna
then
tell you something, bro.
All right.
Don't be fooled by the record labels. The record labels, what I've noticed for the past 10 years, all they do is steal the independent artist
yeah,
ideas. What I'm seeing in the industry right now is them doing everything independent artists was doing like 5, 10 years before they were doing it.
You're absolutely
Artists like
right.
and artists like Nipsey Hussle, Currency was a big mover for what's
Yeah,
going on in the industry right now. That's probably why he just went out and started a clothing line like Jet Life, because I remember Currency always dropping an album and having promo for T-shirts and vinyls and CDs and stuff. Well, and this is like early on before the word bundle came into play for the industry, and they said we ain't putting that on the charts, and then we are putting that on the charts. That all
I
of
mean,
that stuff has come from independent artists idea. We were doing That's how we were getting paid for the past 10 years.
yeah. These record companies, man, I feel you. I stopped messing with them a decade ago because like they'll still hit me up to this day. Interscope, or back in the day even Atlantic Records, these guys won't leave
Hmm.
me alone, right? And they want to
Hmm.
give you the worst deal ever. Here's like 50 or 70 G's, but you have to spend it like and record in those
Exactly.
studios.
Like
You can't record in your own studio at your home. You
Tommy
gotta go.
Boy Records, at first they wasn't even trying to give me an advance.
Yeah.
that was the next
It was
thing
like,
right
oh,
here.
we
I was
don't
like,
give new
Tommy
artists
Boy, how that
advance.
down,
And
man?
then you owe this money back, actually. Like you're supposed to use it to go get the bus to go on the tour, like make the promos and with all that stuff and
Shout out.
show that you're doing all that. You have to use the money this certain way. Like, I mean,
Yeah,
luckily,
it's a
lawyer reading
crazy.
this, I was like, it's like, yo, this is terrible.
But reading that stuff and doing those business meetings, it just taught me stuff. I was like, I'd rather just do it on my own. I'd
I
rather
know,
just
right?
put up the money myself. And by doing that, it took me a lot further than
Well,
I feel like I
that's how
probably
we
could
did
have
it
did
too. Weird.
amazing things by signing with a major company. Just like, if they were okay with pushing my message and the kind of style of music that I were doing, you don't really hear too many artists like me unless on the major side, unless you are J. Cole or Kendrick Lamar. That's like the only two examples you have on a major label level, when we know that there's a bunch of dope artists that are doing it independently that are killing shit. Like, you know what I mean? But it went on the major side, that's like the only two examples people can give you. And it's just like we are trying, like I felt like I could have did amazing things with them, but I don't have no regrets. I feel like we still did amazing things without them. Like, you know what I mean?
We don't need no record companies ever.
yeah,
No, I guess it's just about your ego and what you want to accomplish. Do you want to get rich or do you want to be famous? You know what I mean? Or do you want to live good or do you want to just be famous? Because there's a lot of these niggas with record deals who are just famous. They're broke as fuck. Trust me.
Yep, yep.
You know what I mean? Like
Well, I
they don't
mean,
got
look
no
at
more money than me and you. Them
Yeah.
lifestyle is just mass because the label gives them, SUV service from interviews or free Airbnbs while they're in town or something
Yeah.
like that. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's all smoke and mirrors. Like once you
Yeah.
realize that, then it's just like it's all just they just have a job just like
Smoke and
me and you,
mirrors, cloak and daggers.
man.
yeah, but
That's all it is.
it's the same though that like I mean you hear this in like all the other things like rock stuff, but you predominantly hear about like how the record labels are like mostly just screwing like rappers. Like you don't hear Taylor Swift talking about, oh, the record label screwed me. You know what I mean? Like
I
Yeah, you
mean,
do. She
that's
got screwed, bro.
Yeah, yeah. She
She
went and
got
she
screwed.
went and recorded all her
They
material.
sold her
right.
masters.
Order all
Her
her shit.
daddy owned
Okay.
her
Yeah,
masters.
I don't
They
know.
sold
I
it,
don't.
and her
But
dad ain't give her no
you don't
money.
talk about it like in interviews, but she let up, yo.
I don't
I
know.
mean,
She
but
got
that's
screwed,
all,
bro.
all the
But
thing.
yeah,
she screwed them back. That's the thing. That's
yeah,
on some Michael
yeah. She
Jackson
got
shit.
Real
She
clever
screwed
and
them
slick.
back. She
I look
re-recorded
at
all of those albums, and they still going platinum and shit. And
yeah,
she ain't got to cut that money with nobody.
yeah,
They
yeah.
mad as fuck. They trying to
Turn that.
renegotiate albums, so you can't do that no
I'll
yeah,
more.
do it again.
yeah. I know.
So I'll do it again, man. I'll be the only one to put out.
Okay, but there you go. But see, like that, but you don't hear about that kind of stuff action happening in hip hop where everybody's like,
That's the thing. Like for example, yeah, like they're just starting to talk about in hip hop. Like so, like for example, like Cypress Hill. were really interested in me doing that for them because they still got to wait another like 5 years before they get the rights to their first album, even. So,
Fucking
What
so
label were they? They weren't on Tommy Boy, right?
they're on
They,
Sony.
they
They're with
were for a
Sony.
little bit. For a little bit, they were.
Rough House.
They
Too.
were. They
Rough
ain't never
House.
getting their masters back from Tommy Boy. They don't sell the masters. They
Rough
keep the
House and Tommy
masters
Boy were,
forever.
were like connected for a while, weren't they?
Who?
Rough House and Tommy
Rough,
Boy.
Rough
Yeah,
House.
I think so. I think so. Back in the
I
day.
know they were with Rough
I
House.
know they were
Rough
with
House.
Rough House.
I know
Sure.
House
Black
of,
Sunday.
but
Was
I
on
know
Rough
House
House.
of
But
Pain.
I'm pretty sure Sony
Yeah.
owns
Oh
everything.
yeah.
Yeah, House
Oh,
of
I hear
Pain.
you.
That's what it was. House of Pain. I used to see they plaques up on the wall up there. It was House of
Yeah,
Pain. House
sure.
of Pain, jump
Yeah.
around and shit.
Yeah.
Digital Underground, House of Pain, shit,
Naughty by
Naughty by
Nature.
Nature, Queen
Yeah.
Latifah. And you know what's crazy? I remember when that Digging in the Crates album came out in like '99. I was like 10. I thought when I was a kid, I didn't know them niggas was famous. I gotta understand that. Like I didn't think that shit went outside of the Bronx. The first time I realized my uncle was famous is when I watched 8 Mile and they was rapping on his beat. And 8 Mile,
Yeah.
my eyes almost popped out of my fucking
What?
head. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Funny man. That's a good. I like that reference too, man.
I never knew them niggas was famous outside of the Bronx. So that was like amazing to
Yeah.
me when I got older and started seeing how much they were revered in hip hop. But yeah, I used to, it's from them being on Tommy Boy to me doing business with Tommy Boy later. That was always cool to me because of that connection. You know.
Right.
Davey, before we because we're gonna end up making the segue here soon.
Okay.
Talk to
Yep.
me real quick about Fresh Kids Music Group, man. What's up? What's up with that?
I started Fresh Kids Music Group for the not for to be like a record label owner and nothing like that. It was
Yeah,
literally just so I can have a platform to release music.
yeah,
If I ever got denied from labels, I always had my own label to release music, and then along the way, I just started meeting cool creatives who just needed a platform to release music. So I just got into developing and helping artists release music for a short period of time, and I still do that now, but I just been really just focusing on myself and just been working on my music and
yeah.
trying to get new projects out for you guys.
Last year was Richmond Highway. What can we expect in 24, dog?
This new I don't know, we don't have an exact release date, but we have a new album coming out called You Deserve Your Flowers. And
Woo-hoo-hoo.
and
New
it'll be out like I'm hoping like this spring summer, man. Like we don't have an exact release date because we shooting
yeah.
music videos right now. We just doing a lot of the like the promotional stuff, getting that down before we start putting out a campaign, putting all of that stuff together. But like I was telling you guys before, I'm really is just thinking about putting that out on physical first for like the first month and then releasing it on streaming later. And I'm only gonna do a certain, like, I ain't gonna hold the joint hostage. I'm only gonna do like a short run of physicals, like 50 CDs or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's not gonna be nothing crazy, but I just feel like for making the art, we have to find a way to make, that's what got me successful to this point, was finding a way to make the max amount of money in the first week of the release, whether if I was doing album release parties or had shows lined up or whatever it was with merch tables or whatever. I always figured out a way how to maximize my profits on the first week of release. So I think all artists should always put that into their mind. Like, you know what I mean? Like the streaming money is never gonna get you where you want to get. So you gotta figure out a way to make your art valuable again.
Well,
Yeah.
as soon as that comes out, man, and you want, for help you promote it, man, we're here for that shit. Just send it through and
I'll
put it out.
I got your number, man. I'll probably just send you promotional stuff directly, man. I'll
Yeah.
let you know
Go
when
ahead.
we get everything figured out.
That's what's up, man.
No, we love it, man. We'll put it. We'll definitely put it on. We appreciate you being up on here and just giving us the love so that we can give you all the love back and let people know. I mean, y'all heard it here, man. 2024, we got new Davy Fresh coming out. That shit,
Yes.
y'all better be
You
fucking
deserve your flowers, man. Be ready.
the
It's
flowers.
gonna be
I
great.
love it, man. I love it.
I
It's
hear
Already.
gonna be great. I promise you, it's gonna be great.
And listen, we want everybody to feel the vibe here, man. We got a couple of your records. We got some music videos. We want to show those and let people kind of hear the sound and the style. For those who
For
haven't,
sure.
have an opportunity. Puff, I know you got a couple of records already lined up. Is that right?
Yep.
For sure.
So we're gonna
Beauty
we're, we're
marks.
we're gonna start off with Beauty Marks.
Yes, sir.
All right. So while he's getting it all plugged away, Um, yo, Davey, you putting mambo sauce on any of your shit, man? Or you try to stay away from that, yo?
Who, me?
Yeah,
Like on my carryout?
yeah, man.
I'm from the highway. What you think, man? Hell yeah.
I
Yo,
love how it got higher and higher.
yo, for those who don't know, man, if you don't know, you don't know, man. But mambo sauce, though, yeah.
Come on, man. I'm from the highway, man. I'm
Stop from
from
the
the
highway.
highway
What you
and
say? What do you?
DC,
What kind of
man.
question was that?
Like who, me?
What
You
kind of
just see
question was
people
that?
find me in the trenches of the trenches in Virginia, and they find me in the trenches of the trenches in DC, man, with mumbo sauce and
This is
four
just
wings and French fries, man. Come
red
on, man.
fingertips, man. Sticky red.
Come
Yeah, I
on, man.
love it, man. Let's hear it, man. Let's go. Let's go. We got beautiful, man. Beautiful record, right?
I appreciate it. This is in my old hood, Gum Springs. Shout out to Gum Springs.
Yo,
It's a building that I grew up in, everybody.
that's
For a
fine.
long time, and I ain't got a trip. I'ma get mine for all my homies on the block. Ducking one time, we tryna grow
I don't
up,
even know if
we
my son
tryna
was
get
one
by,
yet,
and
man.
they
He was
don't
a
make it
baby
easy
back then.
for no man. It's hard
I love
enough
this.
out here being a black man, and even if I fall, I'ma go hard, and every last scar is a beauty mark. I do my thing, dog, just a heavy blame, dog. You know we go hard, never disappoint, y'all. They call us geniuses, but I just feel we think more. I make something out of nothing and they call it raw. Just let me flow, man. Just let me go hang. For all them Richmond highway blocks that I ran through. For all my niggas who ain't get to touch the paper that I stack away. I hope nobody get to take from that. For all my niggas that I took up on this journey with me. I hope they making history. I hope they never diss me. Cause I don't wanna go to war for something I help. I just rather go on tour for something I built. I hope when you hear the stream, it's something you felt. Cause there's some people in this game who can't wait till I melt. And there's some blogs that I can't be on. Fuck it, we on. Some bloggers in this game need some peons. And I've been on my grind for a long time. And I ain't got a trip. I'ma get mine. For all my homies on the block ducking one time. We tryna grow up. We tryna get by. And they don't make
My
it
little
easy.
dude was so
But
little.
no man, it's hard enough out here being a black man. And even if I fall, I'ma go hard. And every last scar is a beauty mark. I could really teach you game, cause you ain't really what we be on. I never let it change me, family growing for the eons. Used to be in the field, now I'm coaching like Dion. I'm going for whoever is black is what we be on. Got some haters mad cause I call in they face. Yeah, they do they dirt in the dark, they're hiding they place. Look, I'm back in this bitch. You don't rap it like this. This is legendary shit that you witnessing, kid. I'm really not an act. This ain't fiction rap. When you see me in the spot, I'm really living that. A kid who rap, who grew into a man. In fact, the brother do more for stacks, he's more than rap. This ain't the same Davy Fresh, he be ballin' for hits now. Peter Pan grew up, my nigga got kids now. Feel like I gave this game all of my life. Made money for 10 years, but it came with a price. Fuck it though, cause it came with some ice. And we did the long grind, so it came with some price. Told my story in life through a pen and a mic. And if I get to live twice, I'll be as twice as nice. And I've been on my grind for a long time. And I ain't got a trip. I'ma get mine. For all my homies on the block ducking one time. We tryna
Shout out
grow up,
to
we
Uptown
tryna get
XO.
by,
That's who I
and they
actually
don't make it easy.
sampled the voice you
But
hear
no
in the
man,
background
it's hard
with.
enough out here being a black
I
man.
actually
And
sampled
even
his
if I
voice with that
fall,
on the track we
I'ma
did
go
back
hard.
in
And every
2021.
last scar is a beauty mark. And I've been on my grind for a long time. And I ain't got a trip. I'ma get mine. For all my homies on the block ducking one time. We tryna grow up, we tryna get by. And they don't make it easy. But no man, it's hard enough out here being a black man. And even if I fall, I'ma go hard. And every last scar is a beauty mark.
I love celebrate
Man, I appreciate y'all,
cause,
man.
man.
This is a great
Big
one. I
marks,
appreciate y'all.
big marks, man. Big cars, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's definitely
This is a good one, man. This is an important song to me. I heard you laugh when I made that Peter Pan reference. I actually got
so
that.
good though. Like, yo, that's how it's hard. It's like visualize look off and grew up, and
I can barely hear what you're saying. Can we pause this real quick?
yeah. Go ahead. So fuck down. So shout out, man. We adore this record, dude. This is a great record.
Word.
That
Rest in peace on my man, phone homie. Word.
Man,
Man,
I
yo.
love that song, man. I'm glad I got you on. I'm glad I went that night. I'm glad I heard
I
your
appreciate that, man. That's a really good song, man. That Peter Pan bar you laughed at, I got that
Yeah,
actually from Hook, from the movie
yeah,
Hook, where he's like, Peter Pan's got kids.
yeah, yeah.
That's
All
actually
grown
where I
up.
got that line from.
Yeah, yeah. But it's also like the extension of the analogy. Peter Pan
yeah,
and
Yeah,
everybody got kids, they
yeah.
flying and using their imagination to get to their Neverland. And it's like,
exactly.
I don't know, dog. Like, I really dig like when sometimes it can just be these little like one lines, but they have
Yeah.
so much brevity and
Me-
depth to them. If you
And
sit down
that's what my
and listen
rhymes
to
are
it.
more about. Like I can say one line that's like more of a punchline than me saying like as or is, like more of a
Yeah. Oh
simile
yeah.
or metaphor than that. Like you
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's the whole thing, man. I mean, there's poets, and then there's entertainers, and
Exactly, I'm definitely everything that I write comes from a realm of poetry. Like I told you,
Mhm.
I could
Pac is
hear it.
my favorite rapper. Like you know what I mean? And he's like, when I used to grow up listening to Tupac and really hear his stories and be like, this nigga's talking about me. Like I could have wrote this shit. Like
Yo.
you know what I mean? And it was just like that's just really not saying that I try to rap it like Pac or be like Pac, but that's just really a realm where I try to have a lot of my rhymes come from. Another big inspiration of mine was Kid Cudi, man. Like Kid Cudi saved
Yo.
my
Good
life when I
shit.
was a kid. You know what I mean? So a lot of his first four albums are like everything to me. Like you know what I mean? So it was like is that I would say it's a mix of Kid Cudi and Pop. You know what I mean?
Yo,
That's
that's a
where a lot of my inspiration comes from. And Kurt Cobain and Rivers
Black
Kumo
Cobain. Yeah.
and it's a mix of all of that. Like you know what I mean? Because I can go from anything. I can sample a lot of different stuff, and a lot of those different samples just comes from my extensive experience with music. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yep,
dog.
yep.
You see that movie X that Cuddy was in recently?
Why that sounds familiar?
It was A24 Studios. It's
Yeah,
sort of
I heard about. I'm gonna actually watch that jump tonight. I'm
you got
glad you gave me
yo,
something to
dog. It's
watch,
sort
man.
it's like old like 80s slasher thing. This
Yeah,
is
I
more
remember watching it. I must have totally forgot to watch
Cuddy
it. I'm
came
about to
in
watch
and do
that
it
jump.
though. Cuddy came
Huh?
in and did his shit, man.
Yeah, he been acting a lot, man. He supposed to be in the new Sonic jump, what a Knuckles show or
He's
whatever. He
gonna
been
be,
acting a lot.
the new one. Oh, what?
Yeah, he's in it. Yeah, he's in the new
Oh, I
Knuckles.
didn't know
Yeah,
that. That's
they
what's
been
happening.
working.
Working with Idris Elba and fucking
Yeah, yeah,
them carrying them and all that.
yeah, man.
That's
He
hot.
working right now. That's pretty dope.
Yeah, I give it up to Cuddy. Cuddy's dope.
What we got next, man?
Letter to my firstborn.
This is
Okay,
a
this is on the christening.
that DAD right here, right?
This
This
is
is
a good
right
one,
here,
man.
dog.
I made
This,
this as like honestly as just like a personal home video so my son can see when he was born, when people have tapes of I've grown up on the internet, so I share a lot of my life on the internet, but
oh,
this is just really for
Uh,
something for my son
this
to
a
see
letter
when he
to
gets
my
older. But it's a
firstborn.
great song, one of my
Just know
biggest
my
records.
word always be born. I put you on before you even took your first air. You my first air, I always be there. Let me tell you how I came up quick. Had to grow up in the streets, so I grew up quick. Thank God that's a life you'll never grow up with. That's a chip on my shoulder that I show up with. I was born in the project somewhere in New York. Your grandmother moved me out, our family needed the spark. So we headed down to VA, that's home in my heart. For my teenage years, I wasn't getting that far. I made this rap shit work by my mid-20s. Work with legendary labels, made hella money. You know you slightly famous before you even take your first steps. You
yeah.
get a head start on life, so take big steps. Me and your mother proud
This
of you,
tree
put in
right
work
this
for
tree
you.
is right
I
in my
felt so
backyard.
much
This
hurt, hope it ain't
cherry
getting to
blossom
you.
tree
Just wanna
Yo,
be a
shout out.
better father than my
right in my
father
backyard.
was.
It blooms
And
every
teach things
April.
that my father never touched. Look, this a letter to my firstborn. Tell them dead and gone, know my work gon' be born. My legacy don't stop here.
I haven't
You
watched this in
witness
a
the
while,
start.
man. That's a
I
good
Yo,
support
one.
my whole family from curating art. I speak these words from the heart, and in my heart is the truth. I work hard for my kids to keep enjoying the youth. Yeah. I work hard for my kids to keep enjoying the youth. And it's sad that you'll never meet my Aunt Janae. She would have been so happy to see the day you came, but had to battle some demons and things just happen for reasons sometimes I can't even explain. Just know your pops ain't okay. I walk with pain every day, and we ain't promised a day. I try to cherish every second, we can go any day. And your cousin Isaiah, she more like your big sister. I had to raise her as mine, that's why she always be with us. But she my first child, and she came up wild. She made your father leave the game and go and settle it down. And your mother got my back, that's why I'm holding her down. We lucky that we got each other, ain't no stopping us now. And this jewelry and cars, you know my treasure is yours. And this house that we own, it be yours when you grown. You and your sister share these things and pass them down to your kids. Got a music catalog, so forever we live. Yeah. Just a letter to my firstborn. Tell them that ain't gone, know my work gon' be born. My legacy don't stop here. You witness the start. I support my whole family from curating art. I speak these words from the heart, and in my heart is the truth. I work hard for my kids to keep enjoying the youth. Yeah. I work hard for my kids to keep enjoying the youth. This a letter to my firstborn. Tell them that ain't gone, know my work gon' be born. My legacy don't stop here, you witness the start. I support my whole family from curating art. I speak these words from the heart, and in my heart is the truth. I
Thank you,
work
man.
hard for my kids who keep enjoying the youth. Yeah. I work hard for my kids who keep enjoying the youth.
Yo, thing is, like, oh, love it. It's so relatable, right? I mean, time you're also speaking on your past with
Yeah.
what you got going on in the and success, so that the next generation is gonna be okay as long as
Yeah.
you're paving the way. And I just think that's a beautiful thing. But the rest of it is all stuff that
Yeah.
heads, they can tap into.
And you know what's crazy is I don't got no kid, but I
Yeah.
can, because it's like I can picture my dad saying those things. So it's like
Damn.
really heartfelt, man.
You know, man, as being a dad, I almost get choked up like when I watch things about dads. Like, what was I? I was watching Blow last night, and Blow
Oh,
almost got me choked
oh
up just seeing his relationship with his dad.
yeah.
And I'm like, damn, man, I hope I get to be old with my son like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that is amazing to me. Like, you know what I mean? As
What
being a dad.
what do you say? Let the white horses come.
Yeah, I forget they're saying at the end of the
I'm gonna
joint.
say
I
that, but
literally watched that joint for the first time last night. I was gonna, cause I'm about to go to Mexico, and like I'm not gonna lie, the best way for me to get better on my Spanish, like I speak okay Spanish, but the always how I get better on my Spanish, I watch Narcos. I just put on the subtitles and watch Narcos, and then by the time I'm done with 2 seasons of Narcos, my Spanish is pretty good again. I'm not gonna lie to you. So I do a little bit of Duolingo, but I just constantly watch Spanish television and keep it on my keep the subtitles on. But every time I go to Puerto Rico, and this is my first time going to Mexico, so I'm just trying to get brushed up on my Spanish.
Well, that's good, man. Mad props though, man. But yeah, I really dig your videos, man. I really dig your music. Like again,
Damn.
I'm really happy I went that night and saw you, and I was just like, I got you on video, so I've been sharing that shit as you've seen. You know what I
I
mean?
appreciate you,
Like,
man. I
but
appreciate
yeah,
that. Shout out to Man Bites Dogs for even
yeah, shout out to
putting
Man
me on that stage. You know.
Bites, Dog, Count Fifth, all them, man. Much
For
love, yeah.
sure. For sure. Me and Count Fifth got a project coming hopefully later in the year. After this project, the
Let's
next one should be the one with
go,
Count Fifth.
man. Colorful, flavorful, delicious,
Yeah.
man. I
Yeah,
think
that's what we're
that's
hoping for.
the project. I already know it.
yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
I definitely, like I told you before, but I've been kind of busy myself. But I definitely want to collab with you down the road, man.
You guys
So
gotta send me something. I'm always in the studio. Literally,
Studio
even
right
that's
here.
Count, man. I'm the fastest person with records. He couldn't believe how fast I set the back a record. Like
that's
I
suck,
do it
because
in
we
man,
my
like
sleep.
yeah, man,
we like
like,
that. Stuff end up sitting around, man. You're like, man, maybe I should pass this to somebody else.
No, no, no. I'll
Like,
probably send it back to you in a couple hours, man. I work
yo, that's what
fast.
that is.
what's up? That's what's up.
Yeah, dude, that's that work ethic, man.
Yeah, man. I
Got
work
that
fast, man.
doing stuff where we still got records where there's just like a space because we just
Mm-mm.
like forgot about it because we moved on to something else because the other dude never shows. Like,
Cause I'm kind and you know, by doing features, like when people send me records and they like, yo, can you do this for me? I've never ever charged for features, ever charged for
Yeah.
features. I barely charge for beats. Most of the time when I make the beats is because we're making a record together. So I've never charged for features or beats
wow.
or anything like that. But
I,
um
I'm the same
when I
way.
do that, that's like I'm not gonna front. That's like my rep session. That's when I get my reps in. Like you know what I mean? Before I
Yeah,
gotta
yeah,
get back in the studio and work on this album again. Like let me brush up on my rhymes with this shit. I'm not gonna
yeah,
probably my verse I give you is probably gonna be better than what I lay on my shit because I'm really going in on that joint trying to build up my skill level. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
man. No,
that's just how I work. So it's easier to knock the records out, huh?
I definitely,
I'm gonna have to work with you. It's over.
Yeah, man. Come on, man. Just send me some records. I got you guys, man.
we definitely are part of that philosophy as well, man. Like, yeah, we art is art, but if and then there's business, but what we're doing is art. So there's not gonna be none like that. It's just
And I appreciate the like I'm in it for the art. Like I've always been in it for the art. I've never really been
yeah,
in it for the money or the fame. I always, you know, when I was wanted to be,
Yeah.
I used to pray that I'll just have my bills paid, man. I
yeah.
didn't want a
That's good.
Ferrari or all that shit. And guy, be careful what you wish for, because that's what he gave me. I don't got a Ferrari.
Yeah.
But
That's all right, man. Who
But
needs
the
one?
but I got a
Seriously.
car. Like I
lights
got a
out,
car. I got a
Yeah.
nice little
food in the
truck. You
fridge.
know, I got a big house. Like you
Yeah,
know what I mean.
gotta get that
So it's
quick.
like,
That's what's happening, dog.
no,
Yo,
that's
hey,
what's up.
Puff, do we got time for one more? Or do we need to segue out, or what are we doing, man?
It's up to you guys. It's up to you guys. We can. It's a 5 minute. Next one. It's up to you. We could push it and watch this one right now. Should I hit play, gentlemen?
Yeah,
this
Let's
is the
go for it.
beginning.
let's roll. This
Go for
Jay
it.
Z though. This is one of the ones that kind of helped break out, right? Like
Yeah,
this
this is
one
what
that
got me discovered by Tommy Boy, most
there it is,
definitely.
there it is.
Yeah, definitely.
Kind of feel a little bad for it, man. Doing this kind of all like.
And I just wanna ride down. Yeah, I just wanna ride down. Yeah, I just wanna ride down. Yeah, I just wanna ride
Shout
down.
out to keep an eye on the product. He don't want to produce this.
Look, I just wanna ride out, bring the Jordan 5s out. You got a convertible, the homie bring the sky out. Gon' let the to the fullest, no more dodging bullets. Remember back when the nigga used to watch the bullets. Back when I was hooping, grew up, started shooting, and always had them bars. A nigga been a star. I'm from the highway where niggas don't care, and we ain't never thought that we can make it out of here. But look what I done did. Been dreaming since a kid. Now we fresh kids and we grind just to eat. Not a lot of sleep, but I got my own label now, so you can sign with me. Rather be the next big L than take the next big L. Hope that best fit well. I take shots and fail, and we just go get this money right. Ride out with the honeys get tired. Yeah, I just wanna ride out. Yeah, I just wanna ride down.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I just wanna ride down.
I'm going down here, home.
Yeah, I just wanna ride down.
I'm ready to do it.
Nigga, I'm hella far, I'm a star, and I don't even have a car. Gotta call an Uber, and I ain't even knew you. But if I pay him good, bet this nigga be my shooter. Yeah, if I pay him good, bet this nigga be my shooter. Don't judge me unless you sit above me, and I smoke that lovely. Bet you smell it on me. Got niggas hating on me cause they know my album about to drop, and all I did was come up from the motherfucking block. Look, baby got it locked. Leo got the drop. I put a lot of people on and they ain't never flop. With a drop when I come up in their office, they paying the nigga. DJs know it's a game, but they playing the nigga. I be slaying the nigga, hate paying the nigga. If he ever fuck with my money or family, nigga, and that's just how we go. So can I make this go like Jay-Z and Jermaine until money ain't the Yeah, I just wanna ride down. Yeah, I just wanna ride out. Yeah, I just wanna ride
Excellent.
and I just wanna ride out.
That's from a long time ago, man.
Yeah, I just wanna ride out.
Wow.
Yeah, I just wanna ride out. Yeah, I just wanna ride out. And I just wanna ride out. Yeah, I just wanna ride out. Yeah, I just wanna ride out. Oh,
Like, you know,
yeah, I just wanna ride out.
and it's all these rappers like all this shit come like so like when I like it's like
And I just wanna ride out.
so like I
Yeah, I just wanna ride out. Yeah, I just wanna ride out. Oh, oh, yeah, I just wanna ride out.
I was like hindquarter and shit. Yo, that's crazy.
Wow.
Yo, yo,
Watching that was interesting.
taking the place. Yo, what was interesting? And what's the screw? Yo,
Oh man, because if I can go back and tell that kid, man, it's gonna work, he would be so happy. You know, that kid was working so hard, man, trying to see his dreams come true. That was like right before everything really popped off for me for real. And that kid was working real hard, man. And you know, to see the humble beginnings like that, we put a lot of work into every Dark Night and
right
those
there.
albums that came, and you know what I mean. And man, you know, right after that, you know, we got to go on meetings with like SoundCloud, got to go on meetings with Tommy Boy was taking, you know, that kid was taking trips to the Greyhound up the street at Union Station at six
Yeah,
o'clock in the morning and go to New York and be there by 10, have some coffee and shit and start meetings by 12. Like, you know, that kid was
yeah.
working, bro. I'm trying to tell you. You know what I mean? So seeing that, well, I haven't watched that in a while, but that kid, he
Has
was
so much
working.
doubt and so much fear, man.
You
You
know
know, and
that, but that's the
so
thing. He didn't have no fear. Like I didn't have no plan B. I was like, this gotta work.
it's
Like you
got to
know
work.
what I mean. So we was really putting in work. You know, all the money I was making, like you can even look at me back then. You wouldn't even tell I was getting money. So all the money I was making, I was putting it back into myself, making physical copies, making T-shirts, making everything to do the shows, making sure we had a play. Like I was using that money to treat us like we had a record deal. Like you know what I
Yeah,
mean? So like even when we were going out of town to record like Mio Tiga albums, she had a budget for studio time and flights and places to stay and you know all of that type of stuff. So that's what I was investing. That's why I said I just took the money and invested into myself instead of waiting on the labels to give it to me. You know what I mean?
it's a beautiful thing, man. I
Yeah.
love it. I love seeing come up and hearing the success
Yeah.
stories, man. This is like the drive is there, and there's still
Yeah.
so many ways to go. But like you've already got to this one spot. Like the
Hmm.
fact that you're able to like sustain is
Yeah. I
some of these
mean, you know, to
hard
tell you,
things.
you know, that video that Every Dark Night will be 8 years old this year. That was
That's
eight
so
years ago
wild.
for me. You know, if you look at the timeline and the music videos from that into the new
Oh
ones, you
yeah.
can see the growth. You know what I
Oh yeah,
mean?
oh yeah,
You know?
oh yeah. That's what I love about. That's why I wanted to showcase it too, because like
Yeah.
it's so much more raw and gritty. But it's like it's still like even stylistically, there's that
Hmm.
evolution, but like
Yeah.
it's authenticity.
Authenticity.
The authenticity is I'm trying to combine both words
Yeah.
words
Yeah.
out here, hear them come out of my mouth. So
Nah,
yeah, yeah, it was
but
great.
no, no, I really dig this, man. I'm really proud that you're
Appreciate you guys.
repping
Yeah,
Virginia.
doing us proud, making us
For
look real good.
sure.
Uh,
Like that's mad
For
props.
sure. I had to break down the door for VA, man. You know, for a long time, they didn't accept us out in the DMV or in the DC music industry
Yeah.
for a long time. You know, I got it easier than most because you know I was on the highway, but when I was like 15, 16, I was still taking the train out to DC trying to get into everything music. So a lot of those guys been seeing me out there since I was a teenager, so they already associated me with DC, not really knowing I was from VA. Like, you know what I mean? Because I'll be
Yeah.
every, like I said, I'll be in Saratoga, I'll be uptown,
I
I'll
feel
be
you.
southeast, I'll be everywhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Trying to
that's like
record with everybody, trying to get every opportunity that I could get. So, you know, I've been doing this for a long time, man, and you know, I'm just happy we was
it's so
able to
much.
do something with it.
It's much easier to be like from DC instead of like VA. Like where in VA?
For sure, you
You
know,
just
I
like
mean,
exactly.
that's
D.
And
why
then,
when
and then, you
a
know,
lot
I've
of these,
never been the artist to even get opportunities in VA. You know, like when they're
yeah,
Yeah,
doing shows
yeah,
down
exactly. Like
in
they never
VA or
back in the day.
yeah.
It's so hard. But
You know, that show in the mall, that was my first show ever in VA, ever.
oh
That was
shit.
wow,
the first
bro.
time I ever performed in VA. That was the first time anybody ever reached out and was like, come perform in VA. You
Wow.
know what I mean?
Like
First
we would
time
do like
ever.
squad gigs down in like Old Town Fairfax, Old Town Alexandria. Like that's where we were kind of at, and like it's a
Yeah.
different scene today. Like there's
Yeah.
more of a
Yeah.
community. I mean, there was a sense of community in a
No,
lot of our
no,
spots, but
we were the
but we
community.
were the community.
They weren't.
You know, it's
They
just
weren't.
it.
Yeah.
We were
Yeah.
in a
You
lot of
know, I've always been competition, or people have always looked at me as competition, and I've always hated that because I always wanted to be down. I always wanted to
that's it.
record, and I
Man,
was wide open. Like I was happy to be there, not realizing people were looking at me as competition. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, and that's what really hinders a lot of people's opportunity for growth because they already have agendas. But that's just like everywhere. That's what I learned about the music industry. When you get
yeah,
into a record label, like what a lot of these guys wasn't thinking, the guys I was telling you about, with once you get that record deal, you got to show them why your music is more important than the shit they're already dumping money into. Like, you know what I mean? Just because you got the record deal doesn't mean the journey ends. You have to still prove to them that your shit is more important than the shit that they working on. So there's still a journey even in that process. You know what I mean? And that's just like every situation. You know what I
Yep.
mean?
Yeah, for sure.
so
Absolutely.
real quick, let me just put this in because we're really running out of time here.
Yeah, for sure. I know we had a good conversation. That's a good
No,
thing.
yeah,
no,
yeah,
no.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's just really important because I feel like, but we would love. We're making a mixtape.
Hmm.
Uh, for all our guests, and we would love for you to be up on the mixtape as well.
Yeah.
Bro, for
And this
sure.
goes to all the our guests. We're making this mixtape. We want you guys on. Submit like a song that you're making, and we'll just put it out. And
Well,
we'll,
whatever. When the time
No, for
comes, we're
sure.
we're, we're still waiting till we get a few more guests
Yeah,
before.
yeah,
yeah, we
we
got
want
like 5 more guests that we need, and we're good, man. So you're no 4 now, 4.
Okay, nah, for sure. But let's do it. Just keep me posted on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for
Davey,
For
sure.
Davey,
Thank
sure.
you, man. Thank
Dave,
you.
you got a final thought for the people, man.
Yeah, and like where people can find you and stuff.
Like I said, new album, You Deserve Your Flowers, coming sometime this spring, summer 2024. You know, you guys can find me on everything Davy Fresh on Facebook. Everything else is Davy DMV. Just on social media, Instagram, Twitter, or X, whatever they're calling it these days. And
Yeah,
you know, not that hard to find, man. YouTube, search Davy Fresh if you need the music, you know, all the
very
streaming
very good.
platforms. But please try to buy the merch. I'm gonna
Yes,
always
sir.
preach that. If you
You heard it,
appreciate the
guys.
music,
Buy
if
the
you
merch.
appreciate the music, and buy anything, even if they selling stickers, buy that shit. Like
Yeah,
buy anything. Appreciate if you appreciate the music, and you listen to these artists every day, then support the art. Please support the art in
Yep.
any way you can. You
You know,
know what I
I was
mean?
happy I did. I'm so glad I
Yeah,
did.
for sure. I appreciate you guys. Like I appreciate you guys. And you know, my
Likewise.
my my supporters, that's the one thing that I've always had it good with. I make music that people want to support. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like, you know, I always appreciate my supporters. Anybody who's ever supported my music, I appreciate you guys to the fullest. Cause I know when you go into your pocket and pay for somebody's money, and especially if you dig the music, you appreciate it way more than if you just, you
oh,
know,
yeah.
took my link and listened to it online. You know what I mean? So
Amen,
I
bro.
appreciate you guys
Likewise, man.
Amen,
Likewise.
brother. I
Thank
appreciate you,
you.
man. This is a real deal, Davey Fresh here today. Listen,
for
once again,
sure.
we do appreciate everyone rocking with us here on the Rappers Corner. So please, please like, subscribe, comment, Share this content with other hip hop heads in your life. Follow us right here on YouTube. Check out our content on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X. Please follow and support us individually. Johnny Warbucks, at Sir Puffalot, at K Red from the Rappers Corner, Kalishnikov Red. And of course, please support our artists, man. Support Davy Fresh's music, which can be found once again all over streaming sites, including
For sure.
Spotify, iTunes, all of that. Check out his social media pages out at Davy DMV on IG and X, Davy Fresh on Facebook, TikTok, and right here on YouTube. Download the music, purchase the merch, check out the sound, check him out.
Please.
Go to the live show when he come around your way, dog.
Please.
Davy Fresh. This is it, man. We appreciate you so much, man.
I appreciate you guys, man. Thank you.
You'll be happy. Merch, trust me. I bought the CD. I bought that junk.
Get the joints
all the time.
Thank you, man. Thank you, man. I'm glad you like it, man.
Absolute pleasure. We appreciate it, man. And what? We gonna be up out of here. We'll see you at the next one. All right, guys.
Peace, man.
Peace.
You have a good one.
Yeah.